Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Again, video is about to start. Hit that like button down below. Hi guys, so tonight we're going to revisit a pattern we've done before, which is the Kinermoney Killer. Previously we tied it in a larger hook, so we're going to try and tie it here on a size 10, and this one is on a Partridge Patriot, size 10, and so it's just a few considerations on how to get neat and small. So I'm going to use white gel spun here for the bulk of the tying, and then we'll swap over towards the head. So I'm just going to wax that and attach it onto our shank. So rib ways, because we're small, I'm going to go for a wire, so I'm going to go for silver wire here. I'm going to tie this in on the top and tie it back until the legs start to splay, and then I'm going to wrap backwards for 3 or 4 turns and up through. And tie it down, and then I'm going to fold it over and take it over to the side and tie back on, so that is ready to rib the fly as well. So the rear part of the fly here is a silver holographic. We'll put on the silver holographic tinsel. And wrap that up to about halfway there. Flip it back on itself and tie over it, and that'll secure it down. And we'll wrap our silver wire onto that to rib it. Take the silver wire forward a few turns, and then we'll just wiggle it to break it. So it's a flamethrower style fly, so you could put on your hackle first and then the tail part, or put on the tail and then the hackle. It's up to yourself. The hackle first will help to kick it up further. But I'm looking at it to be a little bit more streamlined, so I'm going to go tail first here. So the tail on this fly is a mix of yellow and orange bucktail. So I keep that mixed 50-50, and I just take out a bunch as I need it, and then we'll put that into our hair stacker. Stack that to line the tips. And then we're going to set that up. So how long do you want it to be? I'd probably say twice the length of the shank. So I'm going to transfer hands. I'm going to trim that off and then set that up. Hold it slightly upwards and wrap back over it, and that'll give us a nice even tail. Next I'm going to put a couple of strands flash into that. So use whatever flash you feel like. I'm going to use a crystal hair that is in like a UV color. So I'm going to set it on so that it's the length of the tail. Tie it in, holding with one turn, pull this back and tie over that and secure it down. And that will leave us 2 strands in the tail. So first hackle we're going to put on is a yellow cock hackle here. So I'm going to double that, and I have a techniques playlist or section. If you check the info button up above, and in there you should find a video on doubling hackles. So we'll flip that back on itself and tie it down. And then I'm going to put on two turns hackle, put my thread through the hackle and tie that forward, snip it off, and bind it down evenly. Okay, so next we're going to tie in our silver wire rib again, because we're going to rib the front body section with it too. And this is only going to be a very short body section, so we get that tied in. And then we're using a black floss. This is a rayon floss. I'm taking a length, catching it across its middle, and then only a few turns of that just to create that front body section, and tie it in. Then take the rib forward on it on probably 3 turns, should be enough. Shorter body sections, less turns. Turn our tinsel pointing forward so it's under the shank here. You can see it tied in here, and then pull my tinsel tight and just wiggle that till it snaps. So for the overwing, I'm going to use a black fox mask, and I'm doing that because it's a nice, soft, easily tied in hair, and it has a nice tip to it. So I'm going to take a little bunch of that, get rid of the very soft under fur, and then sort of strip it down until I'm happy with the amount of it. And what I want it to do is to extend past the back of my tail just a little bit, and that will give me the taper or the point. So when I'm happy with the length, I transfer hands and I trim that off. Put that in position, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some super glue and just run super glue on a centimeter or 2 of my thread and wrap over that. That glue then will run into the tie-in or the base of our fibre there, and that will help to adhere it down. So as you can see, we now have this sort of nice tapered, teardroppy type shape developing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to swap threads, and I am changing over to a red thread. And now we have two more hackles to put on. So what we're going to put on is a little couple of turns of an orange soft hackle. So a little hen soft hackle. I'm just stripping away the rubbishy bits of this. Find its tip. And I'm just going to tie it in by that tip. Flip it back. Tie over that. And then I'm just going to tie that by sliding it between my finger and thumb. And that will double it. So as you can see, you only get 1.5 turns maybe or so out of that. Which is fine. I'm going to wax my thread again. And then we're going to put a little blue hen hackle in front of that. So again, it's only going to be 1 or 2 turns. Again, strip the hackle. Nip out the tip. Pull a few fibres forward. Offer it up to the hook and tie across that little V you've created. Flip it back and I'll turn across like that just to hold it down. And the same again, we're going to wrap it between, sliding it between finger and thumb. Which can be easier said than done with double and treble hooks sticking about the place, but we'll just wrap that on. Tie it in. And now we need to put on a couple of small jungle cockeyes. We're going to take some of these ones from down here at the bottom because we have a small fly. So find a couple of little matching ones. I'm going to match up their tips and then strip off the fibres till the same length. So what I'm actually trying to do with these ones is I'm trying to get them back to this little section here, so that way they'll lay flat. So I'll set one down. We will wax up our thread. a couple of turns of that just to give it something to stick to on the underside, and then I'll just offer the jungle cock up to the side. And then we'll match this one up on the other side. We can then use the bases of the feathers just to pull them in a little bit until we're happy that they're the same length. And when we are, we sort of tighten up the wraps a little bit. And if you want, for extra security, we can fold back those bases. You can snap them or scissor trim them. So I'm now going to take and I'm going to put a little bit of like a UV finish on the head. So what I'm going to use is the same flash that I had in the tail. I'm going to tie that on. I'm going to put some super glue on a couple of centimeters of thread there. And what I'm trying to do is to create a little super glue base, and then while it's still wet, then we're going to wrap that over the head. It's a tricky job. And then like a half hitch to sort of hold it in place. I'm going to put one turn at the back and one half hitch, and then trim that off. Okay, so the tying of the fly is done, so we're just going to remains to just finish the head. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take the super glue and I'm just going to, while that's wet, or sorry, while the super glue is wet, I'm just going to essentially varnish the head with it, and it'll get in underneath the tinsel and everything, and it may not be 100% evident there, but it gives this nice sort of purple glow to it. I just use the back of my nail just if anything's sticking out, just to flatten it down, and then we'll set that aside to dry, and then we'll put on some clear varnish. Now you can use UV cured epoxy if you feel like it. I prefer using something like Sally Hansen's, so this is one we did earlier, which has had the head super glued and dried, and then I'm just going to run some clear varnish on it to finish it. Okay, so that's a smaller Kinermoney killer. As you can see, like, it's only the width of your finger, so it can be quite awkward, but with a few sort of thoughts about the number of wraps you're putting on, you can actually get it quite neat. So hopefully you like what you see. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, check out the other videos on the channel, and until next time, tight lines. And thanks for watching.